Hi, I'm Jeniffer Lozano, and I currently live in Funza, Cundinamarca. It's a place special for me, and I love to live in here. And my contact info is jslozanob@unadvirtual.edu.co. And in this opportunity, I'm going to present the answers for the questions that we did in the step number 1 and the step number 2. So let's begin. Firstly, we're going to talk about the purpose of the course English 7. The purpose of the course is to strengthen foreign language linguistic, social linguistic, and pragmatic competences through the accomplishment of oral production tasks in given sets of real-time interaction to communicate and discuss effectively about complex issues. In second place, I have identified 4 learning outcomes. And in this opportunity and in this course, especially in English 7, we have some synchronic interaction activities. So what is that? The synchronic interaction activity basically is a kind of activities where we can interact in real time with classmates or tutors. Within this synchronic interaction, we can find the web conference or the synchronous support. About classmates, we have some activities where it's important or mandatory to create a meeting in real time and interact with classmates and talk or speak in English. How many activities has the course English 7? Has 6 tasks. The task number 1 has punctuation or a score of 25 points. The task number 2 has 140 points. The task number 3 has 90 points. The task number 4 has 60 points. As the task number 5 has 60 points too. And finally, the task 6 has 125 points. Additionally, we have 3 special moments during the semester with English 7, and we have some moments when we need to realize real-time interaction. So those moments are in the intermediate moment, in the task 2, where it's composed for 7 weekly mandatory encounters, 1 hour long, to talk about diverse cultural and academic topics. The other real-time interaction is in the task number 3, to participate in a real-time debate to defend a point of view regarding a controversial issue. And in the intermediate moment, in the task number 4, we have other real-time interaction where is about an interview associated to Cambridge speaking C1 advanced test. And finally, in the final moment, in the task number 6, we need to conduct a real-time mini webinar presenting a complex academic, scientific, or cultural topic. In short, and in the first place, it's important to keep an eye to the campus daily. The success of the course is when you are watching the campus daily, and it's important to be attentive to the campus. After that, the course rules are accomplished with the deadline time of each task. It's mandatory. It implies that during the realization time of each task, you must participate in the forum on time. In each forum and be in touch with classmates, obviously, and tutor for real-time encounters. In addition, I like to say that one of the most important conditions is read carefully the activity guide and the evaluation rubric, because it will help you to identify the conditions to develop and deliver that task according to those conditions. In case of doubts, we don't hesitate to ask questions to our tutor or directors and go to the web conference that normally are presented before the task begins. And in the second part, with the step number 2, the activity guide gave to me some questions, and I did a reflection about them. And I'm going to tell the questions, and finally, I'm going to give you my reflection. So the questions are: have you got an English language level certification? If not, what do you consider your level is at present? How did you get the level you have now? Why are you studying English as a foreign language? How is studying a language as an adult different from studying it as a child? How long should you study a foreign language? How can you make language learning a part of your life in the future? And how can you organize lifelong language learning? So my reflection is that firstly, to start with a certification, I have an English language level certification, but in this year, I want to present the IELTS exam. My current level is B2, but I want to achieve the C1 level. I think that I got, but it's important for me that I'm studying languages, that in the process when you are studying some languages, try to assess the level that you have. So the exam says that I have B2 at the moment, but I study a lot, so I think that I improved my English level. So this level is a result of my lifelong language learning, and it's been so hard because I have studied English for my own since I was a child. I found a special love for languages, especially English. So it has been a process where I study in different ways: movies, English class in my classroom, in my house, even talking alone and speaking with native speakers. Through the years, I have had the opportunity to speak with native speakers, and I think this is the most important part when you are learning a language, is to interact with other person that knows the languages, especially with native speakers. And you make some mistakes, but it's important that interaction because you can improve your language. So the reason why I decided to study in English has changed through the years. As I mentioned before, I have had contact with English language since I was a child. So in that moment, the reason was parental influence, because I have family that live abroad. But through the time, I noticed that speak English gives more and better opportunities to me, and effectively, my life is an example of that. In fact, in this moment, I'm improving my English level or my English skills too for working abroad. According to studying a language as an adult in comparison as a child, I strongly consider that is different. As a child, studying a language comes to you as a natural way. Meanwhile, as an adult, it becomes a technical process. An adult must be more willing to learn. In an adult, motivation and willing to do it guarantee the success of study a languages. But the student must be aware that the study a language is a little bit longer process. It's not immediately result, So when you decide as an adult to study a language, it's important to understand that you enter a new world, and that new world implies to be part of the process. It's a long process. You maybe achieve a certification level, but it's no guarantee that you know the language. It's important to practice, to continue speaking, and continue studying. In my case, I should study for 4 intensive months if I want to achieve an excellent score in my IELTS. On the other hand, I have started to study Korean language, and I'm studying 1 hour per day. When you want to learn a new language, it's important to answer the following questions. What do you want to learn? How much do you want to learn? Where do you want to learn? When do you want to study? How do you want to learn? How much can you take in at once? So the lower your proficiency, the faster you will experience language fatigue or lack of ability, attention, and strength in continue to speak and listen to the language. Lever and Ehrman and Sketman said that in 2005 in the page 24 that a text that I read. These questions will guide the planning language study outside the classroom. I consider that if you are studying a language in the classroom, you need to study more in and outside of the classroom, because at the end, the reason why you're learning a language is because you will apply in some moment in your life, either personal use or work use. No ISP can be fully effective unless you periodically stop and measure where you are. In measuring your progress, there are a number of ways to assess your current language skills. I'm doing a quotation for Lever, Ehrman, and Sketman in 2005 too. In my case, to do IELTS exam will be my measuring. Finally, at the moment, I decided to study a foreign language. I didn't have idea that is a process. Nobody told me. And that study English gave to me knowledge to a new culture, traditions, and ambition to speak like a native. So that my lifelong language learning becomes in 8 daily hours, because where I work, I must speak English all the time. It was a way to commit myself to speak, write, and think in English. And as I told a few lines, I've learned either a language and about a culture in a new lifestyle. Thank you for your attention. Remember, my name is Jeniffer Lozano. Bye.